And God became man. There's no way to make him in his image until God actually becomes man. So God became as we are, that we may be as he is. And he's not pretending that he's a man. He has to completely forget that he is God and lose all memory of his power that is God, and take upon himself the weaknesses and the limitations of man. And in this, he now is forming himself into his own likeness, which is God. He is raising within himself that which he became, redeeming everything in this world. That is the power that is God. Now, while we are here as man, you want to be, and you name it. You want to be successful in the world of Caesar, in dollars and cents, nothing wrong with it. You want to be a successful doctor, successful lawyer, I don't care what it is. You want to be? Well, then formulate in your mind's eye what it would be like if it were true. How would you see the world if you were now the man that you would like to be? See it in your mind's eye, and then yield yourself completely to the depth of your own being. How do I do that? Simply fall asleep in the assumption. I dare to assume that I am the man that at the moment reason denies, and then fall asleep in that assumption, leaving it completely to the depth of my own being to externalize it in my world. I will wake tomorrow morning under compulsion to do certain things which I had not formulated, I hadn't determined. I'll find I'll meet the right people. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other. And it all adds up towards the externalization of my assumption. Just as in his case, he now has a sign of God's favor. The depth of his own being responded to his abandonment. It's a complete self-abandonment. It is, and I can't commit myself to what I do not love. I can't do it. So if my idea of God does not bring forth within me the sense of love, well, then I have the wrong God. If I know that he's infinite love, believe me, he is. But the day will come, you'll have the actual experience, and you will know that God is all love. I stood in his presence, and God is man. The world thinks, oh, God is not a man. He's an impersonal force, they're saying. He is this, he is that. God is man. The Ancient of Days, without beginning, without end. As he said concerning David, he said, although he was a youth, he seemed to have no beginning, no end. He seemed like the Ancient of Days, and yet he was young, as described in the book of Samuel. Here is this youth, just as described in the book of Samuel, the 16th chapter, the 1st Samuel. That's the one I saw. That's the one you're going to see. Well, where is he now? He is within you. He put eternity into the minds of men, yet so that man cannot find out what he has done from the beginning to the end. That's what he put into the mind of man. What did he put there? The Father and the Son. God himself entered death's door, the human skull. And he laid down in the grave the human skull. And he is dreaming the dream of life that man is dreaming. And in the end he will awake. And when he awakes, he is the being in whom he entered. The being in whom he awakes. So you are John, he awakes as you. And because he was a father before he entered you, when he awakes as you, you are a father. And because his son before he entered you was David, when you awake, your son is David. David of biblical fame is the Son of God. That's the Messiah. That's the Christ. That's the power and the wisdom of God. So within you is that power. Within you is that wisdom to do anything that you desire in this world. So this is the faith of which I speak. How do I do it? You can sit right here. And you go to bed at night, as you're told in the 4th Psalm. Commune with your own self upon your bed and be silent. You don't commune with another, you commune with your own self. That's God. For the self of man is God. When you say, I am, that's God. There is no other God. But you don't see him now. He has become invisible. The darkest night in the world was when God became invisible. He told the story to all of us before we set forth. Then he became invisible and took up his residence in us. He became invisible. And in us he is I am, my own wonderful human imagination. That's God. So I don't see my imagination as I see objects in space. For imagination is the reality that is causing these objects in space. So I see the fruits of its activity, but I do not see it because it is invisible. The day will come, I will see it. I have seen him. He is the Ancient of Days, just as described in the 7th chapter of the book of Daniel.